going to do a segment today that I'm particularly excited about. There are a few legends in the custom boat building world, and today we're pleased to be at Merritt Boat and Engine Works in Pompano Beach with the legend himself, Roy Merritt. Roy, how are you?
Pretty good, Paul. How are you?
I'm really well, thank you. And thanks so much for having us here. You know, fiberglass boat building is a different thing than most people realize it is. And as we were talking a little earlier, it's not just fiberglass boat building, but it's...
Well, we like to use the word composite because composite means it can be made from a whole bunch of different things.
Okay.
And we have a certain technique. It's used by some, but not many. It's expensive. But we try and build the strongest and lightest boat that we can. And so therefore, like our hulls, it's cored, there's a lot of Kevlar. And then our superstructure all goes carbon. I mean, the carbon for the stiffness, the Kevlar is there for the toughness. It is tough. You almost have an unsinkable boat you won't poke a hole in it, I can tell you that.
Well, that's how today's technology has helped us to build a better product. But let's turn the clock back just a little bit, because the same design philosophies and the same mindset is what's guided Merritt Boat Works since the 1950s? When the shop here opened in 1947, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
That's correct. Well, my grandfather bought this property in 47. He just wanted a homestead, and back then the family had about 5 charter boats, so they wanted to have a place to take care of their own boats. They were all fishing out of Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
And so that's how this place got started. And pretty soon, a piece at a time, first you got to do is put a lift in to haul your own boats, and then pretty soon you're working on other boats, and we're here today.
And the next thing you know, a guy wants you to build him a boat. And where did the boat building component really start?
Well, it started right here, but my grandfather was a pretty handy sort of fella. He learned a trade in Norfolk Navy Yard during World War I, and he could build a boat.
Okay.
And there was a local developer in town that wanted a boat built, so he started it. And then at an early age, my uncle came in, because that's to help his father. And then after that, 3 or 4 years later, my father came in.
Okay.
But that's how it started out. The first boat was built here in 1955.
And was that a 34 or
30? It was a 34-footer.
Okay.
It went from 34 to 35, and then they settled on a 37. That was the boat they built for the next 10 years, let's say.
And that's a boat that put Merritt's on the map, truly. And it was a big boat in the tuna fish marketplace.
Yeah, it was the boat to have during the 50s and 60s, because bluefin, Cat Key, bluefin fishing was tuna fishing. That is was the fishery to be involved in, and
absolutely.
That's where the boats it was the right boat at the right time.
Well, it was a perfect boat for it. I happen to have had a little experience tuna fishing many years ago, and it was a boat that would spin on a dime. It was fast. It had no wake. It kept a clear piece of water behind the boat so you could present to a fish. And those are the days of Jojo Del Guercio and guys like that on the edge in Cat Key.
No, that's very true. There's a lot of old-time anglers. When I think one of the early ones was a guy like Bill Carpenter, who really kept infused IGFA with a lot of money to really keep it going. He bought 2 37s during an 8-9 year period, and he was an important customer way back then.
Absolutely. So the 37 was the boat that everybody got to know Merritt Boat Building from. But then you went to, of course, people broadened their horizons. We went into, first it was a 44, but we decided a 43 was a better size as a standard.
It started out as a 42-footer.
Okay.
And the 42, and the size was going to come along anyway, because people were developing diesel engines that seemed to make sense.
Right.
I mean, we're building an 88-footer right now. We couldn't build that boat if it wasn't for the kind of power that we can put in a boat like that.
There was no room to put 5 or 6 1271s in a boat.
No. You sure couldn't do that. But these things evolve over time. From what you have to work with, and it's real important. Engine power is real important to us because it tells us what we can build and what people will want.
Lightweight, high performance, fuel economies that are reasonable so you can have the tankage to go places. This is all the balance that we try to strike when we're building the products today.
No, absolutely. If you can't, if you got something that burns way too much fuel, it's not good. The boat's got to perform. Above all else, it's got to perform.
Right.
And that's what we do. Any successful builder knows that.
So from our 37s, and then we went into the 43s, and those boats were all built from wood. And then as we progressed along into bigger boats, when did we switch over to a composite build?
I switched over in around 1981, 82.
Okay.
And what got me interested in building fiberglass boats was the use of composites.
Okay.
Because the old-fashioned glass boat was just a little too heavy for what we thought we could get away with.
Sure.
So when you could build a composite boat, then piqued my interest, and so I started off on that.
Well, that composite construction also gave you the ability to do more of a custom delivery as opposed to simply building a mold and building as many boats out of that mold as you could. Well,
the hull won't change, but everything else inside does. But it allows you to, it's funny. You build a boat, and every time you build that same boat from the hull, from that mold, you do a better job with little things you do. So it allows us to do a better job, and every time we build from that same mold, and that's just the way we prefer to do it.
Well, and that also inspires you as you're building it to come up with other ideas. How can we better utilize this space? We have a new engine technology that's available to us now so we can get more performance out of it, but that precipitates the ability to build a bigger boat and use the same sort of space and the same size engine, but now we can put in some more hotellery, more accommodation for our owner, maybe a bigger cockpit or whatever the mix is that we're trying to accomplish in the next iteration of what we build.
Well, we're in a tough position as far as what we're trying to accomplish sometimes, because sometimes we might have an idea we think this is more important than something else, but I can tell you what most people want that we deal with. What do they really want? They want it all. If it's out there, they want it.
As long as they can have it yesterday.
Well, that too, but it's within reason. I mean, that's just what they want. You got to plan. You have to plan on it that way.
Absolutely. Well, the most successful people in the world, the most demanding people in the world, come to see you because they want what's arguably one of the finest products in the world. So these are people that don't take no for an answer. So you got to come up with how to have it all.
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of people I'm sure can do the same thing we're doing, but we've been here a long time, and they kind of know what they're going to get, and it's worked out pretty good.
Obviously, it has. How many boats have you guys built at this point?
From 1950, we've finished 110 boats.
110 boats.
Yeah.
So that's an amazing testament to craftsmanship too, because you got a fully operational yard with several build sheds, lots of guys working on it, lots of great creativity, a great customer base, but there's so much attention to detail that in that period of time of almost 70 years, we're looking at only being able to accomplish 110 completed builds. That's a lot.
Well, you gotta have some fire in your belly and passion to do what you want to do. As I get older, I can't quite do it. I have that same fire, you might say, but I got people who do, and you just gotta work at it. That's all.
Well, that's one of the things we talked about before we started the camera up, and that was being passionate about what you do and keeping it interesting. And while it may present challenges every single day, that's what makes it all worthwhile, is coming in and finding the solutions to those challenges.
Well, you're always doing something different. Like, have you heard of wake-adapted struts and rudders?
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, the last boat I just sold, that probably cost us a couple $100,000 to make it happen.
Really?
And I can tell you, when I sold the boat, the guy didn't even know I was throwing that in. But that's just the things that we do.
But those are the things that make your boat different. That's where you get enhanced performances or better handling or better ride, is using innovation and technology.
Yeah, I don't know what's left out there. We've done about everything we think to do, but hey, you gotta be a little flexible. I remember when the guys started talking to me about seakeepers, I thought he was nuts, and we wouldn't think about building a boat unless some kind of gyro system stabilizer was in a boat now.
It's an integral component, and you couldn't sell one without it anymore.
No.
People demand that comfort and that stability.
Well, if you do sell one without it, you better have a place to put it in, because it will go in the boat sooner or later.
Well, we're also finding out that a lot of boats that weren't built for them, we're having to figure out places to put them.
No, and that's never as good as when it's planned on.
Well, you want to make that a part of the original.
Because we're doing a couple of boats all the time, it seems like, putting them in.
Are you? So we've got a couple of boats in build right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, we do.
Why don't we take a moment, run outside, and have a look at what we're building, and maybe give the audience a little bit of sense of how it is that we do it and what makes it different.
All right, let's go.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Florida Nautical Surveyors is your complete solution to all your vessel surveying needs. Our team of seasoned experts, led by Malcolm Elliott, are the go-to solution for pre-purchase, insurance, or valuation surveys. Whether your vessel is steel, aluminum, fiberglass, wood, or even ferro cement, our surveyors have the knowledge and training to meet all of your surveying needs. Call Florida Nautical Surveyors today at 954-801-2140, or for more information, go to floриданauticalsurveyors.com.
This is the build shed where it all starts, Roy. This is where we're laying up the hulls.
Yeah, we start the hulls here. This is our glass shop, one of our glass shops.
Okay.
And of course, these molds take a lot of room, as you can eat up a lot of room, as you can see.
Well, they do take up a lot of room, but the great thing is you can use that space over and over again.
Yeah, that's the idea.
So what size is this one we're going to look at?
This is a 77-foot boat.
So this is a 77-foot hull.
Yep. This is the boat we Michael Peters had a lot to do with this. We came up with the overall design. He does the bottom, and he does all the calculations, makes it run right.
He does all the naval architecture.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
He's a good one.
One of the things, he's one of the best, widely regarded. So one of the things that we talked about a little while ago when we were in the office before the camera started was in composite boat building, we have the ability to resin infuse, which is vacuum bagging, and the resin is drawn in through a vacuum. But there's also impregnating. Roughly, what's the difference?
Well,
and where do you use which one?
Well, let's start with the impregnating. This is an impregnated resin into the fabric, so we lay them in individually.
Okay.
You can't go wrong building it that way, and we keep the weight out by using what we call an impregnator.
Okay.
So we flood the material with resin, and then we squeeze it all out, the excess.
Okay.
And that's what this hull represents. So now some things we parts and bridges will infuse, and really what that is, it's really, you don't inject the fuel, you just suck it in against the mold surface.
Okay.
And we do a certain amount of that. It all depends what fits us best.
And that's when you're using carbon fibers.
Yes.
And some of the more lightweight materials, and you're in kind of a part configuration as opposed to a hull or a large part configuration.
Well, the largeness doesn't bother us, but the problem is that we have a hull. I got so many inserts and so many different things. You got a lot better chance of leaks. Now you can do it, but this is kind of a proven deal with us, and so we've pretty much stuck with it.
And when you refer to leaks, you're talking about leaks in the resin as the process is going on.
No, it's air leaks is what it is.
Air leaks. Okay.
Yeah. You have any?
So you'll have voids.
Well, you have voids. The resin will run right out the.
We don't want that.
We don't want that. No.
Okay.
But this works. We built a lot of boats. We built probably, I don't know, 50 boats maybe using the same process. Yeah.
Okay. So it's an advancement upon the old school wet laminate, lay in the glass, roll on the resin, lay in the glass, roll on the resin. So it's impregnated, but then you squeegee the excess resin out.
Well, we don't do. What we do is we have a bag that goes on top, and it's got like a big diaper that goes against some of the surface, and you suck out excess resin with that.
Okay.
So it gets a good ratio from your glass to your resin.
Okay, and it gives you the ability to maintain weight, maintain consistency.
Yes, yes.
So you have a consistent product from the stem all the way to the stern of the exact mixture that you want. So you have the strength that's prescribed by the chemist or the naval architect and the weight that you're looking for.
You got it.
Okay, all right, that makes a ton of sense. That makes a ton of sense. And obviously all your strength comes from the turn of the fiberglass, it comes from your stiffeners being your hull stringers, your engine beds and hull stringers, or your fore aft stringers. At your chine, the turn of the fiberglass gives you a great deal of strength there as well.
Well, you do a lot of things you don't see. Like, for example, when you're doing a boat like this, and you're trying to emphasize every bit you can. I mean, you'll have the outside skins that might have a certain orientation in the fibers.
Okay.
And then when we get on the inside, we stick to more 090s, which is a stiffer panel stiffness.
Okay.
And that's you get everything you can do. And of course, the stringers are all foam and glassed over. You wouldn't think of using wood. There's no wood in any of that basic stuff at all.
Okay. And the different densities of foams have different strengths and different weights, and we choose whichever one depending upon where in the hull it is, whether it's an engine bed or whether it's aft or whether it's forward.
Well, the hull bottom is all the same, and the hull sides is a little bit less density.
Okay.
But it's the whole combination of things.
Okay.
Is what you do.
And that's why Michael Peters does all those calculations.
He does some of that, yeah.
Okay.
No,
Very
when you
good.
go to him, it's the complete deal. He can do, weight analysis, how the boat's going to run.
Performance curves, fuel curves, all of that.
He's pretty good.
He dials it all in. Yep. And this big bin that we're looking at aft here is the home of the Seakeeper.
That's the home of the Seakeeper.
So pretty much everything we built today has a gyroscopic stabilization system in it.
Absolutely. The way we install it like this, you got to remember the best environment for that thing is, they always say aft of your gravity, center of gravity, but the further back you can get it, the less stress I guarantee is on that machine.
Makes perfect sense.
I mean, Viking does it that way too. They don't do it quite like this, but what we do, see, when we get all done, that thing will be airtight. We'll get air from the engine room, and then we'll exhaust out, so there's no salt can get to it at all. And then when you have to get the machine out, you just cut the rubber seam, take a few screws out, and the whole thing
So there's a
pops
soft
out.
patch in the deck and the whole thing comes out.
Yes.
Because the Seakeeper, at some point,
It will come out.
needs to come out.
It will come
Needs
out.
to come out. You're not going to rebuild it in frame.
No.
Like you would in a main engine.
No, and you get to it real good the way we
Sure,
lay
that
it
gives
out.
you the ability to do your day-to-day service through the access hatch aft, and then your regular
Yeah.
routine maintenances can be accessed
Now,
through
we
the
would
top.
normally have another door in the front of this thing, but the
Okay.
problem is everyone's putting in a sonar, and the sonar goes there.
Okay.
So once the sonar goes in there, you can't get to the front of this thing.
And the sonar is retractable,
Yes,
so it extends down through the keel,
yes.
and that's that big cutout I saw up in the office.
No, that was cut out.
That's a keel section.
Yeah, that we
was
cut out.
Well, we're going to take a look at that when we go back into the office, because it's really interesting to see a cutaway, a plug from the
Yes.
hull,
Mhm.
because it really gives you a sense of the substance of this hull. It's a hefty piece of gear, yet it's as lightweight as you can make it
Yeah.
to be as strong as you need it to be.
Yeah, you gotta make them tough, because we don't know who's going to run this boat over the next 50 years.
Well, we like to think it's the conditions that they're going to run it in, not who's going to be running.
Well, both, both. Believe me.
Okay, all right.
But this kind of construction is really tough. I mean, we think composite construction where you separate the skins is way stronger than a solid bottom.
Okay.
And the panel stiffness is definitely there. And it's if you really understand composite construction, you know just how strong this is. It's well built, I can tell you.
They're really well built, and they're really beautifully done. To see it in its quote unquote rough phase right now, it's still a piece of artwork. I mean, everything is very, very purposeful. It's very clean, it's very straight. Obviously, this is all going to get finish coats of two-part polyurethane or epoxy paints, and it's going to be finished like a Steinway piano at the end of the day. But this is the basics of it, and this is the strength of it.
This is how you start out.
This is where you start out. Well, let's look at The next phase, I think in the other building, we have a boat that has the house on it, some of the interior in, and we start to get a little sense of what some of the finery is through the Merritt boats.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. So what we decided to do, Roy, was to take a look at the next phase. And of course, we just looked at a hull. So what goes on top of a hull? Of course, we have a deck, but here's the house. Now, you mentioned to me when we were over at the other portion of the facility that the house we build in a little different way than we do in the hull.
Well, it's just different materials is the basic thing.
Okay.
So what we're doing, these skins are pretty thin, but they're carbon, they're extremely stiff. It's the best way for us to build something strong with the least amount of weight we can do.
Makes perfect sense. So on this side of the house and deck, what we've done is we put the carbon fiber on and put the bag over top of it. But before the bag, we see that absorber that you had mentioned to us earlier. And that absorber is?
The absorber is to take out any excess resin we can.
Okay.
Because all that material goes through what we call an impregnator. It's we get rid of the excess resin, and
so we have exactly the amount of resin that we need to saturate the cloth and make a solid product without voids and without having extra resin.
No, that's correct. You couldn't say it any better.
So we've got the starboard side of the house going together right now. You can see the front of the house and the foredeck is all foamed in, and then the port side of the house has yet to be covered in the carbon fiber and the epoxy resin that's going to go into making that a completed part.
That's correct. What you're looking at when you see that yellow stuff, that's all the core.
Right.
And it'll all get a fabric on top of it.
And get bagged.
And of course, there's some more stiffeners that we'll use. We'll use some stiffeners in this cabin top.
Okay.
Down in the forward deck, we put a couple fore and aft stringers, and we do it for a couple reasons. One is it helps on the stiffness. The other one is some of these boats will get a davit, and it gives us a good place to start to tie in the chocks.
Structural support for the davit and the chocks for the weight of the dinghy. You've also got, as you see on the side here, a couple of faired cutouts, and that's for backing plates for hardware?
Well, we remove the core in those areas.
Okay.
And then we'll glass it, and then we'll put a stiff core in there.
Okay. So different density.
Different density, so it doesn't compress when you put the outrigger fittings on or any fitting you might choose.
So that's places where we can through bolt, and it has a different density and a different strength ratio than the panel areas where we're not looking for the ability to attach things. We're looking for structural support and a beautiful finish too.
That's all we want.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know that we're going to get a chance to see how you install the windows, but I remember one day when I was rebuilding a boat and I came down here and you gave me a great lesson in how to use Sikaflex properly, and I'll bet you those windows still don't leak.
Well, actually, we got a better system now, but
well, I didn't say you're going to give me all your secrets. You just gave me one of them.
No, but I think it's we're probably using. I think we're using the same manufacturer, but the way we put them in is a little bit different.
Is it done differently today?
Yes.
Well, we're going to move from here over to the next bay where we have a house on a hull and a deck in the salon, and we're further along, and actually we're getting to the point where we're starting to put in some veneers and start to install some of the interior of the boat. So let's walk over that way.
Okay, let's go.
So in this area, Roy, we've brought in a hull. The house has been married onto it, and this is yet a separate area. Now, refresh my memory. When we first started talking, you said your family originally bought 10 acres. How do you do 100 acres worth of stuff in a 10-acre facility?
Well, you just do the best you can. Actually, we have about 13 acres here right now.
So you stretched it out.
It started with 7, now it's 13.
Okay.
So
all right. So
I didn't get quite the deal that my grandfather did. His original was 7 acres for $8,500.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's a matter of perspective, and my guess is that your grandchildren would love to be able to buy it for what we could buy it for today, right?
Yeah, I know.
So on this side is an enclosed bridge, and that's going to go on this
Yes.
hall here.
Yeah.
Okay, actually go on this house.
Yeah, we're going to try and finish this on the ground totally before it goes up
Before
there.
installing.
Yeah, because it saves a lot if you can, and we can do most of the work on the ground, and actually most of the painting, have the windows in it, have the whole bridge on it. Anyway, that's the plan.
That makes a ton of sense. Instead of having to climb a ladder to get to every single piece you're going to do, assemble it here and then marry it onto the boat at the end. So you mentioned to me earlier something called a waveform strut.
Well, you can see the curve of it right there.
I know these are papered up, but
well, you can kind of see it
when Lee
here.
brings the camera around the back here.
Oh no, it's all, well, you know what? I can take it. It's a lot to take it off, but you can see the shape of it right there, even though it's all gray.
Sure.
And
sure. So the strut actually has a curve. Gosh, it looks like it was a ground. It looks like it was bent.
well, supposedly what happens is it does something to the water and cleans it up into the propeller wheel, and then there's a corresponding thing on this rudder, and you pick up about 2 knots, and it makes it real smooth, and you lose some of that station wagon effect you get because
Which is a drag.
well, when you get a station wagon effect, it's the mist that comes over the transom.
Right?
So what happens with this, you're cleaning up the water so you're not chopping it up as much.
Okay.
It makes a big difference.
And does that make a big difference on the wheels and cavitation burns as well?
No, but
Because that's at the hub and it's a different part of the science.
well, I don't know if it makes that much difference on the cavitation burns, but everything else got real smooth.
Okay.
So I assume it would be better anyway.
It makes perfect sense that one would follow the
Yeah.
other. But
But
it's really interesting the way they've figured out the curvature of that strut to actually clean up the water flow. That's pretty amazing.
Well, it's hard to believe, but it does work.
Well, let's go up top and see the pretty stuff inside. Are those Humphreys interceptors that are going to go in that one?
Yes. Ryan, turn those fans on. They make so much noise I can't even hear.
We'll keep it short so you guys don't get too hot. So this is the 77.
No, this is an 88 footer.
Oh, an 88,
Yeah.
correct.
So
Okay.
so we put the house on it. It starts getting a piece at a time, and then the idea, this is where most all the woodwork gets done.
Right. Okay.
Which, as you can see, the fellows over here, they're putting the inside teak on, the posts,
Okay.
and
Window posts.
this is how we start. Now, sometimes when we do this, we don't know if this is going to go stone or wood,
Right.
and they change their mind all the time. We're set up for it either way.
Okay.
And
So you got a structure that'll accommodate either one.
well, you do a couple of things here. First, you put this piece on, and you make sure the outside is. We'll fair it with a beam where you stretch it, and then we'll take this piece and we'll glue it and set it, and that sets it. It won't move after that.
Okay. That's a stiffener for the side
yeah.
of the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And that post gives you a chase for wires as
Yeah.
well as being a structural component, or not so much a structural component on this
I
case?
guess it all helps. I don't know.
Okay.
Everything helps.
Every little bit.
Yeah.
Every little bit.
But see, these guys all want those sheer blinds anymore.
Right.
So then you gotta. This is good. See, we'll put another cover on this thing. It'll. Let's say it goes over like this, for example. So when the blinds go in, you don't see daylight.
You don't
through
see
them.
where they go.
It's nice.
Very
It looks clean. Looks modern.
Well, and that's the difference. You have to think about these things on paper before you ever cut the first piece of wood if you're going to come up with a finished product that people are wanting today.
Well, they don't want heavy-looking drapes. I can tell you that.
Right.
But it's like everything. It just kind of evolves over time.
Sure. We figure out a better way to do it. And on the next boat, we do it even differently. So the way this boat is set up, we'll have the galley forward, salon area aft.
Yes.
Will this be a dinette over on the starboard side here?
Yeah, that's the seat for it. Now the reason that the seat's in already because that's part of the entrance to get down to the cruise quarters.
Part of the companionway
under
down there.
here.
Okay. Right. And then for an 88-footer, is this 4 staterooms and 4 heads?
This will be almost, the owner wants to call this a 6-bedroom.
Okay.
Because that actually there's 5 including the crew, but then we separated out a captain's quarter with a door on it.
Okay.
So he wants to call it 6. So if he wants to call it 6, that's okay with me.
He's welcome to call it 6.
Call it whatever he wants. But all through there, we use all kind of different cores. Like most core we use is going to be we use a lot of product called core cell.
Okay.
And then we have some bulkheads we use a lot of. We use a lot of. It's not called plastic core. Okay.
Okay.
And actually, it doesn't seem right, but there's less. That's more of a sound
Has more sound deadening properties?
than a regular core
Okay.
will.
All right. And I see that there's some components here or some areas where, did we gel coat these, or is this finished with an epoxy finish?
Now, some parts on the outside is all gel coat
Okay.
because that helps to set up our finish.
Okay.
You're going to see all kind of core materials being used. You can
Okay.
see the plastic core here, and that bulkhead. Someone's got regular core cell. If we have to do a lot of fastening, we like the core cell. We like this for compression and noise.
Okay.
It's just everything's.
And depending upon where it's located is what you choose for a material.
No, that's exactly right. This is the rough kind of looking part of the boat because it's we take we'll build a shower,
Right.
and then we have to cover it with wood so now we can start building things onto it.
Okay.
And so we start. Well, you don't know where we're going to start, but we usually start up forward and start working back, and you can see some finished stuff going on up there. And
Yeah, the
to make
VIP guest staterooms up forward, and then we have staterooms on either side and heads off of those.
Here's those beams I was telling you about we put in the house. They can just go, so in other words, if a guy comes in here, we know that we can latch onto that anyway. We know right where they're going to be.
So you know where your stiffeners are,
Yeah.
and that way you can put your chocks for your dinghy, or
Well, it's
if
a
you're going
good
to put a davit in next to a bulkhead.
it's a good start.
Okay.
The problem is you still have to remove some of the core because it's not made to carry weight.
Sure. Well, it's an amazing process, and we have some video to look at of the boats finished that are in the marina. And everybody who knows Merritt boats knows what an exquisite product it is, but it's super interesting to see the process by which they're built and the things that you do differently from other manufacturers. It's the stuff of legends. They're some of the most phenomenal boats on the edge.
You'd be surprised. We probably do more things alike than you think.
Well, you do them really well.
Well, we try.
Roy, thanks so much for having us today.
All
This
right.
has been a super interesting segment.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
Thank you.